Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question that is talking about, not really having a fulfillment of plans with them. In other words, a build up of a lot of pathological lies. In other words, we're going to have a life together, we're going to have the family, we're going to have the kids, yet these goals never get realized, and you really find that you thought that you were going to everything was going to round out, and you had this sort of lovable, I think you would call it sort of a lovable bad girl, what you might call a lovable rogue, someone who is a fixer-upper, someone who has a lot going on, that you feel you're so stable, you're so together, you have such a great solid background that no matter what they dangle, you can just be their life vest, you can be their life buoy, you can be their dinghy boat that comes out and picks them up. You might feel that you can just rescue them again and again, or despite what they're going through, you feel that you're just there's something sort of missing, and it might be really a sort of feeling of a solid future. So I think this is a great viewer question, and it's very interesting because a psychopath, they don't really want, I'd say they're not really driven by what the rest of society is. They want something very impulsive, very immediate gratification, very impulsive. Whatever it is, it's just sort of right now. And they'll take whatever it is, even if it's not the right time. You're supposed to be focusing on work. They're gonna take apart the coffee machine and get the new Keurig. They're supposed to be talking about a meeting, and then they're just talking to you about, how great your outfit is. They will just sort of be all over the place, if you will, but they sort of command the attention, and for some reason it feels that whatever it is, even if they break the topic of conversation, that is the right thing to do. So they have this sort of immediate, impulsive, sort of what seems to be an inspired life, very charming, but yet there is something very much like that is missing. Either like a pin in a map that is missing that actually gets accomplished, or really just sort of the way about which they are getting to things, and namely which requires the sacrifice of other people's needs, other people's future, for them to circumvent and then take and then redirect according to their needs. So they will plant the seeds of your being there to be there for them, whatever role it is that you satisfy in their life. So maybe you're just a kind listener, maybe you're green or naive, or you're unassuming, or you haven't met this type of person before. So, they go, oh wow, like here's someone who I can toy with, here's someone who I can, really have my way with. This is kind of what their thinking is, their motivation, if you will. And they might seem very lovable because of this. They might be very haphazard. They might be what you consider a lovable rogue. In other words, they might be so seductive. I mean, their shoe is off their foot, the way that they're dangling their foot, the way that they dangle their cigarette, the way they do this to their drink, the way that they hold open their wrist and like show their neck. I mean, it's just the way that they walk by things, the way that they lean, the shape that their body takes, that they might be just sort of, and making their body into a big S, and then they just do all sort of strange things. I mean, just erotic things that are sort of mind games that you would never think of playing. Who has this much time to play? Okay, so, but it's play to a fault, a play to others' demise, a play to others' ruin. Others' ruin, meaning you didn't hit the mark for your relationship. You didn't hit the mark for your business venture. You didn't hit the mark for your marriage. You didn't hit the mark for your kids. You ended up giving away the keys to the castle. You gave away the rudder to the boat. You gave away, you know, whatever. You trusted them. You just, were all just. It becomes, I would say, almost like a surrender. But there's a lovable bad side. A lovable side. I think, meaning something that you want to partake in and experience. And a lot of people, I'd say, get intrigued, fascinated, and I would say more so dumbfounded by others. And oftentimes they are repelled by these other people, but they are fascinated. A psychopath might tell you it is like a train wreck that you can't keep your eyes off of. So that's how they'll explain how they are for people. I mean, we're just telling it like it is. This is, if you have not experienced this, then this might sound odd. You might be confusing this with other mental disorders, schizophrenia, psychosis. This is not these things. This is not break from reality. This is not psychosis. This is not schizophrenia. We're talking about antisocial personality disordered individuals. We're talking about people who are very vampiric, meaning there's an energy that they sort of take and they fool you while doing this. So this is part of the problem, because you don't realize that your lifeblood, your goals, your energy, the goals that you are to hit by divine design, I mean, just by virtue of who you are, your strengths, your true character, what you've experienced, what you've built up in your life. So it's supposed to be doing this, and all of a sudden it does this. You're, rather than it being, a graph that's like slowly going up, you might find all of a sudden it takes a complete dive. It takes a jimmy to the left down. It flips down sideways, and you didn't even know your life could take this shape. I mean, it becomes very catastrophic very quickly when you start getting into a little bit more of these individuals. So it's like the kid with the dimples with the heroin addiction. You're always looking at the dimples, but yet there's the heroin addiction, and this person, is a heroin addict, and then basically they end up taking from you for their fix. They become very parasitic in nature. These people, a psychopath will tell you that they need people. They need people, meaning that they don't really aren't very independent. They aren't very grounded or autonomous. They need others in order to get what they want. Very parasitic. Not that they're just borrowing something, but they need something emotionally from others. Again, not something healthy like I'm going to round you out. We're opposites and we complement each other. We're talking that they that they need to fool and deceive people in order to get by in life. This is what they do. This is what they do. This is business as usual for them. And so, what you think that they might want is what they're telling you that they want. So they will tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you what you want to hear. Oh my God, I can't believe, you're this, or, oh my God, you're such a man. Oh my God, you make me feel like such a woman. Oh my, just all these different things. And then, of course, the behaviors to back it up. And then, it can be a very rewarding experience. However, what's going to happen? The cigarettes run out. They need to refuel their cigarettes. Where are they looking? They're looking to the parasitic, with which they take that energy from. And so it's oftentimes very, very exciting and enticing to engage in all of a sudden this new value shift. like you're shifting a gear on a Ferrari. Whoa, man, my life has never taken this shift before. Like, I didn't even know I could get this. I didn't even know I could stay up all night for 5 nights. I didn't know I could sleep for 3 days straight. You get these energy shifts, I would say, and oftentimes a very imbalanced one at that. But a lot of people might feel elated, once again, just like a fairy tale, once again, with these individuals. But it causes a dilemma because you don't want to leave this individual because the good seems to outweigh the bad. It's the lovable rogue. In other words, but look at those dimples. I mean, they've got all sorts of track marks on their arm, but who doesn't have their vices? Look at those dimples. People begin to get really distorted perspectives. They will just hurt without apology. They will break rules as if it's, drinking the water, as if the water just goes this way. No, this is not the chain of command. These are people who just help themselves. You're in a restaurant and, next thing you know, they're in the back office talking to the owner and you're like, what were you doing back there? Oh, I was just trying to make a call for our next DJ song. What? You're like, why did you just go in there? And then, they might walk out from strange things with the back office, like, this is their notebook, and you're like, you just took their notebook from their back office? Well, it was open. Just stuff like this, you're like, are you kidding me? Just the strange things that they just do because they can. It becomes like an alcoholic who then begins a lifestyle of just getting away with things because they can get away with it, just for the pleasure, because they can get away with it, not because it's anything that they need, that they want, just because they're belligerent, and they can be belligerent, so this is what makes them special. This is what makes them feel significant. This is what makes them feel significant. People have a need, even people who are antisocial, to feel significant in some way. So if they can disrupt everybody, then they're very, very significant people. They will have I would say, a very blank past. You might not see a lot of connection or pictures from their past. Things just don't make sense, or a very small amount of pictures. You don't get the full story. You might not have any pictures of them, and they might just tell you about their past, so you never really get to see into their past. So the big gestalt ends up missing, and then they're filling it in with a lot of things that they want you to perceive, but only for the present moment. They don't really have this development where they sort of look ahead and then are able to sort of plan and work towards the future. They don't learn and build in the same way. They just don't have that sort of mechanism moving forward. So it becomes a real, just sort of I would say almost like a conveyor that people sort of jump on with them, jumping on their energy pattern, and they don't realize that in the meanwhile you're sacrificing or missing your future for a lot of their immediacy and their chaos. So their immediacy will take the place of a lot of the long-term goals or other decision making or feelings that you can build towards. So they're not about that. They can quit a job very quickly and not really feel that they missed it, or feel that they need even to be in that same field. They'll break up relationships, and they'll just go on to the next one, and as if they had no connection. They just don't have this sort of continuity, an emotional continuity, either between discussions, fights, emotional intimacy things. Oh, I love you so much. You're the most incredible person. You're so strong. You're all these different things that makes them unique. And then you think you've got this bond, and they're giving that back to you, but then you'll find that there's behaviors, actions to the very, very contrary, to the opposite. Whether it be with work, whether it be with relationships, where they live, whether it be with their family. They just don't have that continuity. And I would say it's not even a loyalty. They just don't connect and relate to others in the way that others do. They don't, it's just almost as if everything and everyone is replaceable. You know, we're out of milk, I'll just go get another one. I mean, it's the same emotional tonality that they have, that you would think, really, you can't, I mean, just so, in other words, they don't really seem to value or cherish or know what they have in their hands, because they don't know. They don't have that emotional richness to have appreciation for people. And I think even with time, usually I think as people mature, they develop more of an emotional appreciation for people, things, the way things came together. They reflect on relationships earlier in their life. Wow, that one teacher, that one relationship, that was a real miracle. That person really carried me through those tough times. I mean, so people develop a appreciation and a continuity in their life. So I really feel the psychopath, they don't have that same continuity. They don't have the same learning. Their prefrontal cortex, which is where the learning, the judgment, morality, that whole place resides, is shown to be shrunk in size. It doesn't have the same activity, the same mental muscle, if you will. So they're just unapologetic about it. It's just because they don't feel that they've done anything wrong. They don't have a sense of morality, so they don't feel that they have done anything wrong. I mean, so it's very difficult to hold someone accountable when they truly don't feel that they have done anything wrong, because they don't have a conscience. They literally, most people do not understand or are able to grasp the degree to which you understand they don't have a conscience. They are not disturbed by breaking the law. They are not disturbed by hurting others. They are not disturbed by divorcing others. They are not disturbed by betraying others. They're just not disturbed. They are undisturbed type of people. You might call them very fearless. You might find this very amazing when they tell you about things that normally people would be freaking out about, and they're just sort of, smoothing their napkin on their lap, and they're just like, yeah, and then and then my I put my dog to sleep, and then we don't really have it just there's an affect issue. There's an issue of affect, very inappropriate for what you would expect. Their affect is off, but yet it can be a very employable quality if someone is fearless. In other words, under pressure, they might be working quickly, but they're not fearful. So if fear is an inhibitor. So a lot of people, I think, get convinced that with these people, because they don't really sort of worry about the future, that they're very attractive. Wow, all I ever try to do is work to save and work to grow up right, or have a family right, or live in principle. So a lot of people sort of, have this as a natural impetus when they don't really have that forward-looking connection. They might talk about it, this or that for the future, this house, this car, this is going to be our couch, we're going to do this and this. So, talking about things, right? I mean, it's all telling you what you want to hear. It's all telling you what you want to hear. And they do not, most things that you would have trepidation about doing, they just blow by. So once again, wow, you really took control of that situation, or you really handled it, and I really admire that. And wow, I'm going to stick with you. You're really cool. You're fearless. Wow, you just you're not worried, you're not stressed out by all these normal things that people are normally stressed out about. You're not worried about your future, you're not worried about this. You don't seem to be affected by that when other people are freaking out. You're just so chill. So again, it can be a very redeeming quality or attractive quality. I think that a lot of people find very, very addictive because not everybody has this quality. But this is the same thing that you think is making your life easier is actually going to make your life more difficult because they don't have an ability to plan for that future in that same way and learn from their past mistakes because they don't feel that they make mistakes with people. They feel that they've done nothing wrong, even though they see, wow, I hurt you. Like, it's not right for me to cheat on people. I can see you're upset. Let me just brush my teeth. And then, yeah, why don't we just go grab lunch? You didn't just remember that whole discussion that we had? It just, they have no continuity. It doesn't have any, emotional memory. And they just don't seem to be worried about that future when yet it's important to you. So again, that evasiveness then comes up. It can be very, very, very painful for a lot of people because certain things that they want to, there's certain windows where you want things in your life and you might be fooled and deceived into missing your window. And then trade it for all their sort of hype or their psychopathic lifestyle. Even though what's truly important to you, you don't realize that you're giving it up for what you feel is something better or more exciting or whatever. Whatever it might be, more of a fairy tale life, charming, just sort of, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about it. Oh, well, it's just, we can just do that in the parking lot. It's like, you're not supposed to do that in the parking lot. We can just do this over here. You're not supposed to be doing that. I mean, crossing boundaries, violating societal norms, antisocial personality. It becomes, but a lot of people then interpret it into the positive. Wow, aren't they driven? Well, aren't they just so loving? They have so much to share with everybody. I mean, give me a break. Don't make positive out of this quality, even though it has been, maybe you felt this as a positive quality. What's really important is that you come back down to earth and you realize that you do have a future. You do have a vision. You are living the dream. You are dreaming to live. Getting back to that dream where you're reigniting really what you enjoy before all the hurt. So it's kind of like a reclaiming of your power, a reclaiming of your I am. Do not take their hyper arousal, their hyper stimulation, their sensationalized type of relationship, the lying relationship. We're talking about the relationship that is vapid. I mean, it is vapid. It is empty. Sometimes you will get to feel it and know it very well until eventually you might get sick of the empty, vapid life and say, I'm ready for something real. Period. End of story. And that I want to have a future and that I have things to look forward to. It's okay. It is safe to think and be different than the psychopath. Even if you might have been inextricably intertwined for some period of time, it is okay to stand on your own and let them fly away in the wind, wherever it is. Let them fly off. Let them, you cannot change them. These people are not changeable. These are not people that can be changed. Talk into learning differently. Talked into being sensitive. Why don't we discuss this? This is not what you can discuss and hash out. It's an exercise of futility. Don't give it any weight, any more ounce of thought. I mean, just depart ways. Exit stage up. I mean, just let it go. Let it go and begin to, have things that you look forward to. Begin to have that forward-looking excitement once again. even though I haven't done it in a while, what I really find fun is, you know, even though I thought that this was going to be my penultimate mature relationship, the one that gave me all the life, what's really mature for me is, which really mature for me is, which really best for me is, which really appropriate and best for my next step moving forward is. And even if it doesn't have the tinge of all the other whatever, glitter, glory, sparklers, effect, brainwashing, gaslighting, pathological lying effect that this person had, your reality, despite to the contrary that they might seem like your reality is boring, it is not boring. It is not worthless. It is, you are living it. You are living your life. You have experienced this. It's time to come back. It is so important that you reignite your forward-looking vision and really find out what makes you tick and what makes you excited, and to get on those jets once again. And even if you don't know, why don't you go out on a dark night and just look into the stars? Maybe you'll remember that there's a bigger picture. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out, peace in, peace be with you, and have a beautiful day. Take care, take good care of yourself. Self-care is the name of your game.